So first of all, welcome to Melbourne, virtually anyway, and hopefully we can remedy that situation and make it a physical one in the not too distant future as well. We'd love to have you here, Sanjoy, and thanks so much for agreeing to be with us today.
I feel honored, Adrian. It's fantastic to be here with you. And should I start some topic? Hello, or John?
Yeah. John's there.
I'm here.
Yeah, great. Fantastic.
So I feel honored to receive the opportunity to start the discussion on Raga.
Yeah. So
I heartily thank Melbourne Hindustani Music Collective, MHMC, and especially Dr. Adrian McNeil of this excellent conceptualization, immaculate planning, strategy making, and finally initiating the implementation process. I do not doubt that MHMC will go a long way and be meaningful in creating an icing space for the expanded community and widening brotherhood.
Sanjoy, may I just stop you there? You know, when we were doing the sound check, it was great, but now the sound is a little bit horrible, and I think, if you don't mind.
Microphone, should I let me?
Oh no, I think there was the sound. It's okay now. I think there was something over the microphone, or maybe the paper was over the microphone.
Oh, okay.
Now it's fine. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's it.
So, in the ICM fraternity, Raga has been running as a very popular topic for involved discussions. I shall try to share my humble and limited understanding of a gigantic concept like the Raga. I could develop my little understanding of Raga through learning, listening, practicing, and thinking. One can connect a Raga through many alternative perspectives and methods, but whatever one will understand cannot reach anywhere closer to complete understanding. I can think of a metaphor like discovering the shape of an elephant by some visually impaired persons. These visually conscious people may try to understand how an elephant looks like by feeling it partially. Someone can touch the leg and describe elephant as a pillar, or someone can touch the trunk and describe the elephant as uneven pipe. But you see, these are absolutely not the elephant, it's only part of that. So I do not have any doubt that my understanding is imperfect, questionable, and incomplete. If I try to talk about ragas, I shall prefer to start with the minds involved in their creation, rendering, and appreciation. Many artistic and erudite minds played their respective roles. Artistic minds created the ragas, elaborated the ragas, and erudite minds tried to interpret and understand the ragas. The general process as follows: musician create ragas, musician render ragas. The ragas connected the listeners and the musicians. The listeners, critics, and theoreticians interpret the ragas. The contra or parallel logic to this is ragas get created naturally in the community through the people's natural urge. We can find first reference to the term raga around this line. But I do not wish to bring in old musical treatises in this discussion. Also, this is not my area of work. But those who are interested to know may like to visit Professor N. Ramanathan's online music library. You can also find nicely curated texts on ragas selected from important treatises, all translated into English, so you can easily go through them. And this was done by Dr. Hema Ramanathan. So this may be an interesting treat for you. Now the situation is the time changed, situations changed, contexts changed, ambience changed, perceptions changed, and naturally, there were perceptible changes in people's collective consciousness, participation, and receptivity to raga music. The natural reflection on raga music is the changes in content creation styles, presentation, delivery, and impacts. I take each raga as a unique audio personality. Audio personality shows its changes as the human personalities through its basic audio components or raga lakshanas, the musician's different artistic touches, the phases of raga rendering developments, and the listening types of the appreciators. Raga lakshanas are the properties of a raga that comes to open when the audio personality takes the shape. I must repeat that raga lakshan, we are shouting, everyone shouts that this is the raga lakshan, somebody is airing or somebody is doing this, and they are only referred to the, mostly to the used as per rule, the prescribed raga notes and raga movements. But there are, so this can come, the raga lakshana means the qualities that comes out after the phenomena, on the phenomena, of the when the phenomenon is created. So this is raga lakshana, the properties that comes to open when audio personality of a raga gets established. But the opposite is not true. And singing or playing the raga lakshanas may or may not create a raga. It is like a human model may show all the parts of a human body, but that is not a living human. The same for a corpse and a living person. Raga lakshanas, mainly raga lakshanas are the notes applied in a raga. It's ascending and descending rules, vocal notes, and so on. There are many ragas in Hindustani music and different versions and interpretations of the same raga. And we can talk about this thing, because I have thought about 3 types of purity of raga. We can talk on that if you have time. The ragas can change because of communication lapses, artistic applications, and a natural impact of time on different human behaviors. I'm sure many more points will come up during the discussion that I have not told or missed here. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sanjoy, for the disclaimer. It's very modest of you to say that, but I think it's also very intelligent and very profound thing to say as well, because you've shown us that there are no boundaries. So, and the boundaries, and so that gives us room to move. So then, with that foundation, can I ask the first question then? And hope. So the first question was just basically about you, and if you can tell us a little bit about your experience in learning from different gurus that you've had, and what different things that they wish to focus on, the trunk or the tail or the leg and all that, and how you put all that information together, assembled it.
Excellent question. Let me start with my father, Pandit Piyush Prasanna Bandopadhyay, who was a disciple of, you all know the name, Pandit Ravi Shankarji, and Jitendra Mohan Sengupta, and maybe some other people, but these 2 are very prominent people. You may not heard about the name Jitendra Mohan Sengupta, but you may have heard about Ustad Vilayat Khan Sahab. Vilayat Khan Sahab is a very big name in Sitar Plain. So Vilayat Khan Sahab's father was Inayat Khan Sahab, and Inayat Khan Sahab's disciple, one of the prime disciples, was Pandit Jitendra Mohan Sengupta. So these are the 2 names I can take as his teachers. Then my father taught me the sitar handling, sitar techniques, and rhythmic techniques, because he had exposure. He learned with Pandit Ravi Shankarji, and Ravi Shankarji was a master of rhythmic plays, like Haris and this kind of things. So he introduced me to how I can play with the lyres and this and that and talas. So that part. And another thing he taught me, which is, I think, was extremely precious, that wisdom, I would say, I wouldn't say knowledge. That wisdom he received from Baba Alauddin Khan Sahib when Ravi Shankarji put him as an attendant to Baba Alauddin Khan Sahib when he was at that point of time. Ravi Shankarji was the chief producer of All India Radio in Delhi. So and Baba came to stay with Pandit Ravi Shankarji, who was incidentally his son-in-law and as well as one of the prime disciples. So Ravi Shankarji had to go to the All India Radio, right, for his duty and all that, his regular attendance and work. So in that period, he told my father that you please take care of Baba and see, look at him. So he was pleased with his whatever seva he could offer, his services. And once he asked, what Robu taught you? What are the things Robu is teaching you? Then he showed his whatever he had and described what he learned. Then Baba told him, okay, let me teach you something. Then he taught him this thing. This is the, I would say, pillar where the whole, this mastery, or I would say creation, is based on. And even the Maiharis, I don't say my Rampur senior people, this clan, Alauddin Khan Sahib clan, they also don't discuss about this. And I don't think all of them know about it, because I don't know what the situation now, but even 20 years back, Nikhil, I can refer to my discussion with Nikhil Banerjee. He was, and everybody was very cautious about not to divulge this information. So this was a very strong information, very strong knowledge or wisdom, I would say, that can help one to grow. So that part, that thing he told me, showed me, but of course I didn't believe him, because you don't believe your own close ones, that he is giving you something very precious. So it took another 10, 20 years to understand that was really of substance. When I met, top of the line musicians all over India and came to know about their reach of knowledge and what, of course, my perception. Then I could think that I got huge treasure from him. So that was much better. And same thing happened for my Guruji or Ustadji, Pandit Radhikant Maitraji. I learned with my Guru Pandit Radhikant Maitraji around 15 years, maybe 18 years. I used to say 18, but now recently I thought that I should reduce the period for a few years. So it might be 15 years. And it was late 60s when I started going to him. And I was possibly 10 to 12 years old. And I used to call him Ustadji. I remember that nostalgic green door and that used to open for me at 8:59 in the morning and close at 8:01 on Wednesday mornings. John will definitely remember that very special green door.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I had to reach before his green door 5 minutes before time. Otherwise, I shall miss, I'll be missing the time, 8:59 to 9:01. That is 2 minutes. I have to reach that time. So I have to be earlier. So I have to reach there at 8:55 and wait a few minutes to open the door. And it was definitely, by matching Greenwich Mean Time plus 5:30, 5 hours and 30 minutes, it has to be 8:59. Exactly IST, matched with radio time. And I enter the door and go to and reach the first room where he used to teach us. That was his drawing room. Then I touched my hand on this very small black sitar, a small tumba, but Tarabda sitar. And later I realized, not realizing, later I discovered that that was a sitar of Ustad Inayat Khan Sahab.
Wow.
I just told who Inayat Khan Sahab was. He was the prime, topmost sitar player of his time. So, I mean, there's no question about this, because now we have questions. Vilayat Khan is better, or Ravi Shankar is better, or there are some third, opinion that maybe Nikhilda is better. No, there is no other competitor. Inayat Khan. Inayat Khan was a top sitar player in those days. So he's sitar. And my Ustadji was connected to Inayat Khan because my Ustadji's mother was a disciple of Ustad Inayat Khan. So Inayat Khan incidentally also taught a few lessons to my Ustadji. Anyways, so I had the opportunity to touch that precious instrument, and precious at least with feelings.
Wow.
That it was performed by the greatest Ustad of his time, the Ustad Inayat Khan. Anyways, I learned through that on the sitar. Then on reaching his room, I could lay my okay. Then what happens, I shall play something, and I must say that small sitar could take a 4-note mean. That is very interesting, because the Dundee width was not very, it's short width. So then Guruji would give me 5 to 10 minutes of lessons. And in those days, there was no Walkman recorder, nothing like that. We don't have to take cassette tape. Cassette tape, that in those days, cassette tape actually at least not available in India that frequently as used to got available later. So there's no recording, and he didn't allow any pen and paper, so no notation. So he will sing for me 5 to 10 minutes and out. Then I go back home, and whatever I could write with bad notation system, because I even didn't know how to notate. So whatever I could, manageable notation, and try to remember whatever she taught me. And then residues of remembrance, because it took because my home was quite close by to Sajid's home. It took, say, 5 to 7 minutes of walking. So noting down whatever I received, and then taking my sitar and try to play whatever I remember. Number one. Number two is that trying to work on that lesson for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, so 18 to 7, 56 hours, and going back, making that 5-minute lesson to 20 minutes, and playing. And I used to play before. The first thing is that play whatever have you done? How you prepared the lesson? That was the attitude. No softness, nothing. Then with trembling when I started playing, you are going wrong there. It does the rag go like that? How can you treat this the note, apply that note like this, like that? So after banging, I would at least 4 bangs, and then another 5 to 10 minutes of lessons. And then again going back, again 18 to 7 practicing, then again coming back, then again playing before him, again the bang, again 5 and 10 minutes of lessons. That was Radhikon Maitro in short. But I must tell you what I learned. Because I am a skeptic. I was not a very straightforward person, boy or person, whatever you say. So I was kind of skeptic kind of person. Radhikon Maitro was musician of musicians. But anyway, I was not sure that what I learned, did I learn quite voluminously and nicely, whether I could absorb enough repertoire, enough techniques, enough ideas. I was not sure. So, but one thing is that his lessons apparently delivered the message that you have to maintain the raga. You have to take care of the purity of raga. That is number one. But later, of course, as I told you earlier, I discovered that there may be at least 2 interpretations of purity. So that is a later thing. But I got so much stuck up, what Guruji was God, Saji was God, because Guru is God, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu. So there is no questioning your Guru. So whatever your Guru teaches you, you take it as perfect unquestionable. So and poor, say, gurus have a precarious situation. You see, a learned person teaching an idiot, and you see that, and he is passing up information and the absorption. You see, somebody is delivering the information, and an idiot is absorbing it and misinterpreting it. So gurus are all in stakes. They are in great trouble. And for a student like me, who all the time sees that, wow, this is correct. If you say this is correct, this is correct. I don't care who the other musician is. It may be Ustad Fayaz Khan, and I can say, oh, wow, Fayaz Khan was not able to sing the Wadi Kannada. He takes both the nishas. That was my idiotic, stupid interpretation. Now I understand, but a few years later, I could understand that. Because Fayaz Khan said, but of course, I'm getting Shuddha closer, but so I said, come on, is this person is not trained? He's taking both the nishas in the American. Because I am not a believer, right? Because I never afraid big names. That is the error in my system. But I have very strong regard for my teacher. So my Guruji taught me this, and that person, once Bahadur Khan Sahib played in a concert, and Bahadur Khan Sahib as an affection, I don't know, but let it be there and we can edit. Adrian, later, if you publish that, we can edit all these points.
Absolutely.
Because,
sure.
Yeah. So, but let me talk it, because this is a forum where one should know, but you should know this. Why not? Yeah. Because I'm almost 70-year-old, and if I don't talk it now, when shall I talk? Yeah. So I don't care, I don't care actually, but this is truth. I'm trying to tell you the truth. Yeah. So the thing is, once Bahadur Khan Sahib played, and I don't remember, maybe Darbari Kannada or Koshi Kannada, something. I'm confusing with that. And Bahadur Khan Sahib was a very affectionate person for my Ustadji, because Bahadur Khan Sahib has some complaints and this and that, and Guruji assisted him to get some materials, whatever he knew. So he passed it on. So after I came back, I listened to Bahadur Khan Sahib. He asked me how Bahadur played. I said that I'm forgetting whether it was Koshi Kannada or Darbari Kannada. I was forgetting, but supposing A, let us say A and B. So let us say that he announced A but played B. So he was about to kick me out. But he was so he was about to kick me out. What are you talking? then after a week, the TV came in those days. They started, but Guruji didn't have a TV. He used to go, John will be knowing, he used to go the next opposite to his house. There was a television. So black and white television is those days. So Bahadur Khan Sahib's announcement that the Bahadur Khan Sahib will play the television program. And Guruji said that, okay, Bahadur will play, please come. Then I went there, and it was 9 o'clock. I don't remember what time. Then he started playing. And Guruji immediately said that, okay, he's playing A. Then I was in my sir. No, it's B. And the announcement came, it came as B. Yeah. So this is a situation. So it's the raga and all that. And that is why I tell all my students, don't discuss about ragas, because ragas are not standardized. Yeah. But I'm good that you are discussing. I'm glad that Adrian has come bring up this matter. This is a very common pastime discussion, but there is no solution to it. Yeah. Because I spoiled one ITC seminar on ragas where I told you this morning, where all the top names came and took the stages. So anyway, let me finish it. Otherwise, it will go night long. The second was, number 2 was, I should find my own musical expressions. He was against copying from RMM. The third was that he transferred traditional knowledge with minimum deviations. He tried to transfer the traditional knowledge with in minimum deviations. I already discussed the impacts, but I must tell you, and I was a bit, because I'm also skeptical about myself. Why am I playing so dry? Whatever Guruji is teaching me, and I was improvising on that, putting 8 hours a day, almost, sometimes 6 hours a day, sometimes 10 hours a day, 11 hours a day. I'm putting in my time, but I was getting very stiff. So what is that? When some vocalist, good vocalist is somewhat good, maybe known, very not so known, even Habu Kaka. When Habu Kaka means Guruji's younger brother, when he is singing a raga, it appeared much more aesthetically pleasant. So because now I know why that happened, because we are more focused on right hand rather than left hand. So Adrian will understand that. We were more on melodic lyre designs rather than on the melodic designs. So that was the problem. And so that was questions. And so I was skeptical of what I learned. But I must tell you, after learning with Pandit Radhikant Mehtaji, I started giving concerts, and that used to get accepted by the audiences. And I started giving apparently good reviews, some okay reviews, good reviews. That means I could achieve some good virtuosity level. Right. I played with Nikhil Banerjee, I played with Mustaq Ali Khan Sahab, I played with top musicians of the
John, can you turn your microphone off, John?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Ustadji taught me a good number of common and uncommon ragas, and quite a few old compositions. My discovery that Ustadji taught me anything considerable came after 2 years after his demise. Because I was a skeptic person. So I never believed that I learned anything. It happened in 1983 when Thakur Jayadev Singh ji, you might be knowing Thakur Jayadev Singh. I shall tell about him just one line.
Yes.
Later. So visited Karagar. And at that point of time, I used to learn on Guruji's Ustadji's instruction with Dr. M.R. Gautam. And M.R. Gautam was compendium of ragas. I mean, he has, I don't know how many ragas he used to know, how many versions. And he created the syllabus of BHU. He was a professor at the head of BHU, and blah, 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 blah. BHU is Banaras Hindu University. You Indians are here, you must be knowing. Some of you are Indians, right? So you must be knowing BHU. Yes. So in 1983, so my later teacher, when he introduced me to Thakur Jayadev Singh, he told that this boy, because I was 26 years old, 26 was this boy is a disciple of Radhu Babu. Radhu Babu means my teacher, Pandit Radhikant Mehta, and he has a good repertoire of raga. That's a good performer. That is the first time I came to know, because that somebody is, telling about me and introducing me that I have good repertoire raga. A person like Dr. M.R. Gautam, to a person who was acknowledged to the top musicologist of the country, Thakur Jayadev Singh. So that made me understand, okay, that Buddha taught me something. So next I shall take Manas Chakravarti. Pandit Manas Chakravarti. I reached Manas Chakravarti. I used to call him Manasa because he was not too senior to me. I mean, he was maybe 7-8 years senior to me. As I fell into his musical current, simple. I saw him in a concert. When I answered, Tadapado, his father was a legend in Bengal, in vocal music, Tadapado Chakravarti.
Yeah.
His father died. There was a solo, Shukvarda, who was again, many names are coming. Shukvar Samajpati was the Asian football team captain. He led Indian football team in Asia. So he also used to sing, and the student of Tadapado Chakravarti and Manas Chakravarti. He arranged a concert. So in Kalamandir, I was 2-3 minutes late in entering. And I thought Manas Chakravarti, because I was I don't know. I was what? Full of not so good things. I used, I have command. Command means I was proud that I am a student of Radhikon Mitra. I know a lot of things, and I am a good musician. So all virtual. Nothing was correct. Excepting that I was a student of Radhikon Mitra. The rest were not correct. So when I reached, I saw the environment so much surcharged with Puria. It's like the hall got solidified. It's like the environment is something so much ambience, such a strong ambience. Then Manasda, after Bistar, he hit. Oh, okay, with the accompanist. On the tabla, Ustad Karamutul Khan Sahab, the top ever tabla accompanist ever born. We take him like that.
Wow.
Of course, Zakir Hussain is there, but in those days. Then the top Sarangi player, Ustad Sagiruddin Khan Sahab, who later left Sarangi and started vocal music. Then Jayanta Bose, one of the most talented musicians of his time, this Kumar's, I think, younger brother, the harmonium player, singer. Now he sings and can play tabla. He also accompanied with Hamza Ali Khan and all. So he's a very talented musician. He was on the harmonium. So that was a team. So Manas Chakravarti with the shaven heads because his father was no more after this Shraddha Kriya. So he was singing and singing Puriya Raga, so funny. Not a Raga to be taken. Yeah. So with the Vistar, he went Tarsaptak Sa and hit the bullseye. Because Sa is I would say Sa is not a single frequency, it's around, minus some 0.002 hertz like that. I don't know scientifically, but it's a region. It's exactly bull point hit is impossible. Anyways, it appeared that he hit bull point, bullseye, sorry. Then Sagiruddin Khan Sahab tried it. Let me tell you one thing about Sagiruddin Khan Sahab. The Sagiruddin Khan Sahab's playing, the height of playing Sarangi was that whenever the vocalist was silent, he could play some Sarangi. And I used to think that, okay, let that vocalist be silent for some more time so that I can listen to the Sarangi. So he was exceptionally good Sarangi player. Sagiruddin Khan Sahab. And he hit it and went off. Take them out. Right? Then again, brang, then Tarsapta Sa, then again he hit it out. Don't hit it at all. Like that, he tried 3-4 times, then he never put Sa. Whenever Manasda went to Tarsapta Sa, he never tried to play Tarsapta Sa. So that was a height. But I think that Manasda later period started differently, the singing differently. But earlier, when he used to sing, 25% people would have, you will see after the concert weeping on his music. So this was quite common. I took M.R. Gautam, my Guruji there, and my Guruji's kurta, this all weight when he sang. So like a person like M.R. Gautam, it's not ABC. So I went before him for 1 year, full year, and I said, Manasda Sikhaiye, please teach me. And he was, there were some issues. I shall not go to that kind of Kolkata music politics, but there are some reason that why he didn't say yes. So I'm not going to that. Finally, he said yes, and then I started going to him. And when I went to him, already I performed in Bombay, Haridas Sangeet Sammelan and Sadharang Sangeet Sammelan in Calcutta and other places. So I was I'm not an unrecognized sitar player. Are you taking it? Do you understand? I'm not an unrecognized sitar player. He's started with Puriya Kalyan and took this simple one. He started, and it took 40 minutes. He worked with me for 40 minutes to make it somehow, coming close to this.
Wow.
So in those days, I must tell you, now people are playing sitar. Many people are playing sitar. In those days, there's only one person in the society who could play anything close to vocal music. That was Ustad Vilayat Khan. And everyone thought that what Vilayat Khan plays is unplayable, inhuman. It's a magical, right? So no one knew how to bring out the vocal expression on the sitar. The sitar was more on right hand, as Sarod was. Sarod was even more. Sarod's situation was even worse. Sitar had even some sustenance. Sarod didn't have that kind of sustenance because Sarod came from Rabab. So there are still Rabab influence was there. So more on right hand. But in my case, I learned with the Sarod player and so-called, and actually without accepting Vilayat Khan, no one could play anything close to vocal music and replicating or somewhat replicating vocal music, I would say. So the technique of vocal dinner, because we were taught Gatkari. Gatkari is instrumental music compositions, instrumental music tanas, instrumental music gamas. So I didn't know anything about vocal music. So Manasa is a person who introduced me and put a challenge before me. And I was a person not to get deterred to any challenge. So I went on working on that, trying to find out my ways, trying to find out my techniques, how to bring out that kind of impact in my sitar. How I can replicate that, I can do that. And my father got angry. What are you trying you buy? This is not possible in sitar. You are trying something which is not possible. But, that makes me more, tilted towards trying to do that on this. So I went on trying and come out with something, and that worked. And Kushal, etc., they didn't face any trouble. I told them everything. So they could easily do this, all these maneuvers. So that was Manasa in short. Now Bimlendra Mukherjee, Pandit Bimlendra Mukherjee, if I start talking about him in detail, then the whole night will go. I have met, not all the musicians, but I would say 70–80% of the established musicians. I have interactions with these people. So I know how these people think and how these people, in some sense. And I met a person, for example, Buddhadev Dasgupta, was a very intelligent person and very clear and a graduate of science, engineering. So very open-minded. And this person was a geologist, first class, first from Calcutta University, and was general manager of mining of the India's top, the largest steel plant, Vilayat Steel Plant. And music was his passion, and he managed to get Ustad Ali Akbar Khan or a person like Ghulam Ali Khan or these people, Amir Khan Sahab, to his home in Bhilai, and they stayed with him and interacted with him. They sang at his place like that. So he was kind of very well-established person in his own field. And his son, he was extremely passionate with music, and learned music with. He could play 6–7 instruments like Alauddin Khan Sahab. And nicely, he could play sarangi, dilruba, israj, veena, sitar, sarod, could sing, play a little bit of pakhwaz. I don't know a little bit of what, pakhwaz. So he was an extraordinary person and a thinker and a scientific thinker and geologist of that height. So when he laid his hand on old manuscripts of music, and also went to this International Musical Society for Music Educators. The Adrian must be knowing. So there also he interacted, and he studied Peter Norris, for example, the director of Independent School of Music in London in those days, and tried to get even from his article where he says that practicing is a bad habit. Not directly, but I call that. I tell that practicing is a bad habit. So if you wish to know, I shall describe why I am telling practicing is a bad habit. So the thing is that Talking about Kakababu will take a long time, but I shall definitely, I must tell about him because I told about all my earlier other teachers. So learning with Kakababu, used to call him Kakababu. Kakababu was learning also, there were experiences. Let me tell you one story. Just one. There can be hundreds. Similarly for Manasa, similar for Ustaji, everyone. There can be many stories. And I also learned with, incidentally, Ajay Sinara, Professor D.T. Joshi, and also some training with Gajanan Bua.
Wow.
I learned a little bit of tabla with Shankarda. So, so anyways, so back to Pandit Bimlendra Mukherjee. My learning experience with a story. So there was an IAS officer, very powerful IAS officer. He also later controlled Delhi. His name was Ashok Vajpayee.
Wow.
You know him, Ashok Vajpayee, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Bharat Bhavan's the whole foundation maker, Indira Gandhi was all praised with him for him. So his wife, Rashmi Vajpayee, was a dancer. And Kakababu invited him. He was the vice chancellor of my university, Karagar University. So invited her, Rashmi Vajpayee, and arranged a workshop. So she was taking the workshop and teaching students and teachers, working with them. So there were around, say, 20 to 30 students. How many? I didn't count that. I don't know how many. And ghungrus, 751 kilo ghungrus, 2 kilo ghungrus is how much sound it makes. This much of so 200, 300, I don't know how many ghungrus.
Wow.
20 ghungrus, bells are ringing. Jeep, tatkar. It's huge sound, right? Then with that pakhavas, then tabla, then it's a huge sound. And the vice chancellor's residence was next door. Next door means one door apart. There's a 1-inch door apart. So one is the wooden door. I went to his place for regular lessons. Then he came. And I opened my sitar. I said that what to do, I can't hear anything. There's so much of sound. Then he sat. He used to sit in a very relaxed way like this. And then head down. Yes, tune. When your teacher says tune means tune, because he's God, right? That is a concept, Indian concept, that when your teacher says that is the final verdict. There is no in that. Whatever he says, you have to do that. So he said tune. So I have to try to tune, right? If I fail, okay, but I have to try to tune. So I started, I was not hearing anything. How can, because people sounded sitar, what I shall listen. Then I tried to tune, and he again put in more mind, more focus on sitar. Then said, Sanjay, check the range, go a little higher, little higher. Like that, I tuned that instrument. I don't know how I did that. We thought that I am okay to go. Then Kakabu started singing because he used to sing and I play and talking a lot of different points and all. He started singing and I started playing. Then we went on like that for 2 hours. I never knew when the ghungrus stopped.
Wow.
So that was the impact, that I'm telling you of one incident. Then what I understood from learning with Kakababu, that it is crucial to thoroughly master the process of preparing the instrument for good music, because music is after all sound. So if your instrument doesn't sound well, what to produce?
Yeah, exactly.
So and although I was a well-performed musician by the time, because quite known to them, But everyone in that music, but now I am possibly not known, I'm more known as an academician. But in those days, I was more known as a musician, sitar player. So I was not happy with my instrument. So say, Kakavu, it is not sounding good. You see Hirendra sitar and oh, you two go to a medical shop and get a syringe, injection syringe. Okay, good. Again, Guru's direction. Then go to some this shop and so he didn't know, of course, the Raga shops, and get some turpentine oil.
Oh.
You must be knowing in Australia, the turpentine oil they use for the bat, seasoning of the cricket bat.
Yeah.
You remember that, right?
Yeah.
So get some turpentine oil. Well, okay, good. Then I brought the syringe and the turpentine oil. Well, okay, then this much of oil, but it's not expensive. It was not a little expensive in those days. Then then inject turpentine oil in the sitar, in the tobli of the sitar. When you push that, well, how? I took the turpentine oil, the syringe. Okay, put it here. He didn't do it. Put it here. And I pushed. There was 2 holes there in the sitar tabli. There are 2 holes. John will tell you, but you might be knowing also. So I pushed a turpentine one syringe full of turpentine, this whole other syringe of turpentine, this one. Well, okay. Now you leave it one day, let us see what happens. Then it started sounding good. Okay. Next day, you said that you take a drill machine and drill here on the sitar. Then the said, I can't do that. I don't have a drill machine. Go to Masood Khan. We had a technician there at Karagar University. Take it to Masood Khan, he will do it. Well, where? Exactly. You find out the locus point. Then he drilled, the sound started sounding well.
Wow.
Well, bring a small plastic and put it there. Push it behind the string this way. Then this problem will go. And put the plastic. Problem.
Wow.
Okay. So put some pencil here. Like that. Then Jawari, put the file here. This is 2 strokes, 3 strokes here. The sitar will sound differently. Here I shall tell you one story, because there are so many stories that actually he was an influencer for me. When we talk, you see, 5 into 3, 15 hours a week is a long time to interact with a person that's a Himalayan person like Pandit Bimlendra Mukherjee, and this is an opportunity. So I learned with him for 3 years. But 3 years means, you see, 15 into 52 into 3. It is a long time, right?
Yeah.
It's so many hours. It's a long time. Yeah. So 52 weeks and 3 years.
Wow.
So may not be 52 weeks, that maybe 40 weeks, but even then that's a huge time. Anyways, once I took my sitar here, and he did the, the Jawari, in the Jawari, you file the bridge. Incidentally, I did a project with IIT Kharagpur about this Jawari. So that's a different story. So that doesn't come here. So he did the Jawari for me and gave the sitar to me. Then, in those days, I only saw Hiren Roy doing the Jawari. And Nikhil Banerjee and Rais Khan and these all people, Abdul Halim Zafar Khan, whoever, all the musicians, top musicians, or all musicians, in fact, standing there for hours and waiting for their sitar. And or Nikhil, for example, for his sitar was special, used to do that at night. Also, I was special affection from him. So he also used to do my sitar at night, closing the shop. So I'm back to the but I have to put Bimlendra Mukherjee. So he did the Jawari and gave the sitar to me. What I saw when Hirendra gave the sitar, Jawari sitar to some musician, they would put some means here and there and the other, and make some complaint and give back the sitar, and Hirendra will do something. He won't respond to that. And later, once he told me, this is an important point, underline it, Adrian. whoever. He told me that there is only one musician who can play with the jawari, who can use the jawari. Later, he increased the number by one number more, but after that person's demise. So that was Ustad Vilayat Khan. So he said he's the only person who understands the jawari and can, I would say, can play with the jawari, means can utilize the advantages of the jawari. And jawari is also kind of raga, it doesn't take the same shape every time. It's a different character in jawari, the second character, second jawari, third character, third jawari. But if you are not sensitive enough, you don't be able to use that jawari. Are you getting me?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is very, very, very fine expression. So he said that there's only one person who understands jawari, is Vilayat Khan. Later, after Nikhilda died, he said, added Nikhilda's name. That's it. So I never knew that how to test the jawari, because I didn't have the idea that actually why one should go for jawari, what is the differences, because I was so dull, I would say. I was not that sensitive in that sense, or nor I was exposed to that sensitive behavior of music. You can say that. So he is the person who's did the enlightenment for me and exposed to that kind of thing, that where there is one sound. Supposing you make a sound. Oh, let me complete the story. Then I shall remind me that I shall tell you one sound.
Okay.
I can tell you 5 minutes on sound on sa.
Okay.
So I should later. So better complete this story.
Yeah.
Then he gave the sitar and I did down, bang, bang, all stupid things, bullshit. Then he got, Sanjay, very softly, what are you playing? I said, okay, should I play seriously? Well, then he said, you have a good, how is this sitar sounding now? Well, good. Well, okay, you have a sitar and which you like the sound, whether you like the sitar sound, so what to do with that? Play it nicely, what else? Then I started playing seriously. Then of course, the session was very good. But that taught me that whenever you touch an instrument, you have to be fully serious as you're in a concert hall. Because what happens if you're not serious in doing something, you can see in any area of knowledge, any area of practicing, if you are doing something casually, your brain takes it, grabs it. And then when in the actual situation, sometimes, you get relaxed or you get, offbeat. So it is important that where you're doing anything, you have to be as serious as you can. Serious or whatever, whatever the
mindful,
you would say. Yeah, mindful. Yeah. So what to say? Kakababu can go on and on and on. So he was a profound influencer. But I tell you one thing. What Kakababu taught me, let us go for bullet point, because I have some notes. So for creating music, the audio quality must be excellent. So he taught me how to tweak my sitar, I already described, to generate optimized sound. Okay. Then I told you the anecdote. Then he showed me advanced tuning methods. You say, what is advanced tuning methods, sir? We have visual tuner, what to do? It's a general question, right? You have visual tuner, you can use the visual tuner, you tune, you validate with the visual tuner, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
Indian music is not so, sir. I'm sorry. Indian music doesn't follow the exactly same note position. People must be knowing as in the European music or Western classical music. And my sitar or anybody's sitar, because it is influenced by the weather, environmental condition, the pitch may change, the tonic may change. So for example, my sitar right now is tuned at D minus 23 hertz. There is no scale, Western scale like that. Because in that pitch, and that tonic pitch, the sitar is sounding good. Okay. So What about tuning? Tuning is that how enriched sound you can produce out of an instrument, how much enriched sound you can place. So what will happen? You'll take the benefit or advantages of the overtones,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Okay. Then what happens? Supposing you put one stroke, then he showed me, he first opened me the overtones. So in those days, I used to play Khadas Dadas Sitar, like Nikhilda, Ravi Shankarji, these people with thicker strings. So when I used to pluck one string, then upper ga will sing, the taro of the upper ga will vibrate. Like that. The pa will vibrate, on the judi, pa will vibrate, the pa and ga will vibrate. Both the vibrations, because that sitar was very sensitive in a way. Of course, I was a fool, I didn't know that. But now I understand. So what happens, he told me that when you are making one stroke, one plucking, then he made me silent, listen to it. What's happening? One who is not conversant with this thing, they will say that there is a decay. What else? You put an energy to something and that will gradually decay to zero. That's it. What else? But it doesn't happen like that, Adrian.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't happen like that. Even in Saro. So what happens, if you pluck a stroke, then it will go down, then take a pick, then again go down, then take a pick, then again go down. Then it might take a peak, but that may not be recognizable because the intensity level, the decibel level goes very down.
Yeah.
Okay. So there should be at least 3 peaks normally. Normally, generally speaking, depends on the instrument. There may be 4 peaks, there may be 2 peaks, depending on the instrument, type of instrument, type of tuning, and a lot of things. Now he showed me that what to do with the peaks.
Oh.
Right. So when there's a decay, there's a peak, then you have to take, if you wish to go for a longer mean, then you have to take that peak so that the instrument can sound more. And when you are deflecting with the peak, it can generate a slightly higher intensity. This kind of things, that's extremely finer thing. This is one thing.
That's like surfing on the sound. It's like surfing on the wave.
Yeah. The surfing on the sound. That's right.
Yeah.
Surfing on the sound.
Yeah.
So once I told him, because I was again a skeptic guy, so I got skeptical. Why is that not teaching me? Because Budayat is there, his son. Why he should teach me? Because I was also, kind of, fighting with this thing. So why one should teach me? So I was doubtful, because I also changed a lot, because whatever he used to say, I got extremely impressed. And he taught me everything except in marketing and business. Everything new.
Okay.
But now I teach my students marketing and business. That is the thing. I shall tell you, I have jotted down 12 points that, as you said, that what is the difference between these teachers and what I am doing, that I shall come up. So he taught me how to prepare your instrument. Then he taught me how to prepare your mind.
Wow.
And how to connect the music with the mind. Right? So what is that? Then he said that you learn. When I teach you, you're learning. And what the neurons are doing. Of course, this is, my way of explanation, because I am now an old person, so I cannot tell what my Ustadji, Guruji told me. But you have to apologize me that it's not what he told, the way he showed me. But this is how I can explain what he taught me. It's not that what he exactly taught me. Am I clear?
Yes. Yeah.
My way of explanation is what I am thinking. So my point is, when you are receiving the information, your neurons are getting the information. Right? So you practice that, and that gets gradually absorbed and assimilated. Then he taught me that when you play, don't play. When we're on stage, when actually performing, don't play. Be the medium. So try to connect with nature.
Mm.
So this is actually why, I mean, he told me
Mm.
that you first try to feel, because you have all the information. Sa ni re ga ma da ni sa ni ra ba ma ga re sa Yaman.
Mm.
So this is all ni re ga re sa ni da ni ma ma ga ga.
Mm.
But you sit quiet and watch, because if you ask me, I don't know how many combinations I can create in Yaman or any raga. It's not known.
Mm.
So the easier way of talking is that in Yaman. But that is not true, maybe, because it depends on the capacity of the brain and understanding 101 things.
Mm.
But I don't know.
Mm.
So
Mm.
he taught me that you listen to the Tanpura,
Mm.
strum the instrument,
Mm.
and sit quiet and wait.
Mm.
Wait for what, Adrian?
Godot.
Wait for wait for nature to support you and bring out some idea.
Ah. Mm.
Let the nature form that. Don't form. You have, because you are trained, right? You have worked on that. You have practiced that.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
So, ma ga pa re ni da ga re ma da ni. It's unusual, right?
Yeah.
It's unusual,
Mm.
but it can happen.
Yeah. Sure.
So wait and let the creativity take its part. Let there be some creative expression in your brain, and whatever comes in your brain, then you replicate that in an instrument.
Mm.
So first you have to sing, then follow that.
Mm.
So what happens? He took an example that Raiska used to play slower, one stroke, many chikaris, and Virat used to play faster.
Mm.
And I asked him, what is this? Why this person is taking so much time? And
Mm.
they said that Virat Khan's brain works faster. He creates faster. And I had the similar discourse with Buddha, because I never liked Buddha's music that much, but I thought that. So he once asked me that, you tell me what is problem with me. I said that you are over intelligent and you are overdoing. And your pace of brain doesn't match the pace of brain of the takers.
Mm.
So you have to give them time and try to so that they can absorb what you're giving.
Mm. Mm.
I think I'm over talking because already I'm 20 minutes. The Pomodoro technique says
No.
that no one can take more than 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So this I must be boring you.
Not at all. No. No.
Okay. So this area. So he taught me how to what will the psychological status for good music playing.
Mm-hmm.
That also he taught me.
Mm-hmm.
So what can I say? I can go on and on talking about him. So let us again bullet point these ideas that mainframe discussion, giving very high priority to the optimization of sound quality, to effective music-related content creation and delivery, 3, generating enough exchange values, listen carefully, generating enough exchange values to make the musical renderings credible for the time and the resources spent on organizing, performing, and listening.
Yes.
Every nanosecond, we classical musicians, I don't know where we belong. If we are given by the organizer 45 minutes, we try to make it 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So hungry for performing. This is a very unfortunate situation.
Yeah.
Supposing you ask Ambani that you stay 2 minutes more, will he stay? Because it's precious. So this is this. So we have to rethink, revisit this kind of issues.
Exactly.
So So
Get going. Please finish. I just wanted to make one comment, but please finish what you're going to say, which I think is really profound and really important, what you said before. And that's about the question of whether music is external through the technique, the physical handling of things, and how important it is to think about music being internal and matching those two things. Like you said, having it in your mind, having the sound is here first and then it comes out. That's what you're saying. And, you know, we concentrate so much on the physical and the what is manifest, and we train in that. But as you're saying so beautifully and so profoundly, that the training is also, it's here. That's where the music comes from.
You're actually creating mind. But virtuosity is very important because you must have the tools. If you don't have the tool, supposing that the current goes off, this thing will not function, or anything does something wrong. So virtuosity, you can say that virtuosity. So virtuosity is important because to express something, you might require virtuosity. But virtuosity should be at your beck and call. When you require that tool, you will utilize that. Okay. But what I used to do, people, I think 99% people used to do, supposing I can go very fast to a higher saptak sa, tar saptak sa, the Raga has I used to play without the frets also. Above the frets and on the air, I could do a lot of different things. So, but the point is not to execute that. Once I played that before Buddha, they will do it slowly, but I can do that slowly. But the intention was that I shall do something so that the people will be impressed that, okay, this is something magical. Okay, magic is good sometimes, but that should be on your beck and call. So virtuosity is one thing that should not mix, I mean, that should not be confused with the art making. Art making will require the virtuosity, but for the requirement of the art, you will use the virtuosity, you use the tools. Am I clear?
Yes. Yes.
So back to there one more point. So this is very important. That's the last point, the generating the credibility. So he told me that, Sanjay, your every second is important. So how you're using your second. And also he taught me how to use silence, because silence is very important. I am doing blah, blah, blang, 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 blang. I'm all the time telling you, I'm speaking something. And, you know, I should have given some silence so that you can, you know, you can absorb this better. And I'm also talking very fast. So the speed of my talking, if it's not matching with your taking, and I'm afraid. So whatever I'm talking is not reaching you. So it is important that we give space. Silence is very important. But there are many stories. This will go on, but that's all. And if you ask me what I am teaching my students, then you can come up with your own questions. Or you can come talk something that there be gap, you know, because it's so much charged, so much saturated with my talking. Please do something.
So maybe we can, if anyone's got any questions or comments now, do you want to ask something?
I got one silly question.
No, there's no silly question.
Nothing is called silly questions, sir. Everything is.
No, it is just not as profound as well. You mentioned about Inayat Khan Saab's sitar, the smaller one, tarabdar. When did they start using tarabdars? I mean, was there tarabdar sitar at Inayat Khan Saab's time?
No idea. I don't know, because I'm not a musicologist. I can't say. But I would suggest that there is a book by Aline Miner, the 17th, 18th, and 19th century sitar sarod playing. That might help you. But I'm not sure.
But I'm sure John's chomping at the bit there.
John maybe throw light on it.
John's got the,
Tariffs started being used in about 1825, 1830.
Okay.
Commonly, that means in Surbaha, Surchain, and soon after that, of course, it was always there. They were always there in the Afghani Rabab for hundreds of years.
Yeah. And Sarangi too.
Sarangi,
And Sarinda.
Sarangi got tariffs about the same time. They all got tariffs around the same time in the early 19th century,
Right.
so far as I understand, except for the Afghani Rabab. And there must be some, well, there is an exception, but that instrument is obsolete and unknown now.
Yeah.
So that was,
Yeah. Exactly.
tariffs began to be used. That was in the Rag Darpan, you get this report about this, the Saz Kayal, that had tariffs in the 16th century, 17th century.
Yeah.
But it was apart from the Afghani Rabab, I haven't come across any other instruments that had tariffs before 1825 to 1840.
John can start the video. It's switched off.
Oh,
Oh no, yeah,
yeah.
it's okay.
Any other? There he is. Hello.
I've got very funny.
You got bunny ears.
I've got bunny ears. There's a lot. I won't go into explaining that. But this was a very beautiful talk, Sanjoy.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Adrian,
John's in Goa. So.
can I just Adrian,
Yep. Yep.
you talked about virtue, so being at your beck and call, and at the start you just do the jhankar and then stop. I heard Baban Rao Haldankar talking about the same thing, and I didn't quite understand why it was very important, because he said a singer goes on stage, and in Marathi it is called gungunna. He just hums something and stops, and before the concert actually starts. And I knew it was important, but I didn't know why. So thank you for explaining that.
Oh, thank you. Babanji was my very close friend.
Ah.
And Babanji, because I shall tell you, if you think of, if you want me to tell me about purity of raga, standardization of raga, then Babanji's reference will come.
Yeah.
Babanji was a very good friend of mine. He was a chemist and the director of Goa Kala Academy,
Yes.
where John is now these days.
Yeah.
And he was the director of that. And he invited me a few times.
Right.
And he has profound knowledge on ragas, and Khadim Hussain Khan Saab's prime student.
Yes.
And Khadim Hussain Khan, John might be knowing, but when there was a situation when I had a discourse with D.T. Joshi, he was telling me that now, I'm an old man, where shall I go to ask my queries? Only one Khadim Hussain Khan is alive.
Yeah.
So that kind of profound vocalist was Khadim Hussain Khan. Yeah, back to Adrian. So you wish me to continue on how I teach and
Yes, and I'll just say that Raju's, Govind Rao Tembe.
yeah.
So Raju's his grandson. So
Oh.
It's great to have this east-west coast
Wow.
thing going on.
Very good.
Adrian, can you hear me?
Yes, like Viraj. Yes, you've got a question.
Yes, I have a question. Just actually building on the point that you made at the start of this question series.
Yeah.
A question for Sanjay ji. You mentioned that music is not external but it's internal. Whatever is there within, that is what it manifests outside. So my question is, Sanjay ji, whatever music we have within, that is made up of quite a few factors. Obviously, the samskar that we have by getting trained from our Guruji, or what we hear. These are some of the factors. What are the other factors in your experience that would help a artist come up with a good music that touches the heart of the listener? I'm sure there will be factors like, for example, the consciousness of the artist or the mind, but how the mind plays at the I mean, how, what is the state of the mind of the artist at the time of he performs, that is how the art manifests. So now, how to make sure that an artist especially um, tries to also look after his state of mind, which is very crucial I mean, this is what my experience has been. Whatever I have performed, based on what my state of mind is actually affects my performance. So I'm sure there will be other factors which actually help uh, getting the good music within, training to have a good music within, so that it comes out. So can you please share some of your thoughts or some?
Firstly, Virajji, I am paraphrasing what I understood, because that was a quite, it took about 190 seconds to frame it. So what I understood, that your question is possibly how you connect with the audiences and generate exchange values so that audience can appreciate you and your concert becomes successful. Is it the question?
Not really. I mean, that probably becomes the outcome of that. More than the audience getting connected, my question is more about how an artist can make sure that his state of mind or the music that is there within stays as pure as possible. Because sometimes I feel that the art gets distracted by the state of the mind of the artist.
Yeah, Virajji, there are so many factors are coming in. There's purity and this and that. So I think I shall take it up, this question, after I complete, how I teach my students. That I haven't told yet. Okay. Because that will include, because important is the exchange values, how the exchange values work. The exchange values is when an artist and musician play something, just give me just 10 seconds here. Okay. So what I got from our teachers and what I'm teaching, and this is what Virajji brought up, is very important question. And because my students are performing students, many students are very nicely placed students.
Yes.
So I also handle recital management. That comes under recital management. So that I shall, if you ask, I shall take it up. And Virajji, definitely is a valid question, very good question. So let me finish it off, that how I teach my students. Of course, this will be kind of academic language, but that should cover most of what I do. I receive different inputs from my different gurus, and I try to assimilate every area with my limitations. I try to ensure that I did not miss out.
So, John, is that someone's got their microphone on? If you could turn it off.
John, possibly. Yeah.
Yep. Great.
So, so I try to ensure that I did not miss out it's not anything on incorporating the knowledge corpus and applying them as much as possible. When I teach my students, I try to provide tailor-made materials to open their minds. My point is that how the students can come up nicely. So my effort is to open up their minds, and it's the minds, is their brain that helps you to work and do anything you are doing. So you open up their minds so that they can discover the creative potentials and use them effectively. I discussed with, and this, whatever I have written, 12 points, I have validated this to my students also, because I read these 12 points to my students, and they said some of the students they are not exposed to 1 or 2 points, but mostly they said, okay, we have covered this kind of things. Because I couldn't ask all my students. So some of the students I asked that, please check it out. So I discussed with my students on many areas. Here are the quick 12. 1, preparing the instruments for optimized sound generation. Already Bimlendra Mukherjee taught me. Then opening the use of musical tools for creative applications. 3, preparing their minds for music making. Next, provide them with traditional input in music that everyone does. I teach them goal-based riyas. That is somewhat will connect with Viraj's question. Then discuss creative ideas in a natural flow all the time. I suggest to my students how they can analyze others' music. Mind it, I wish to repeat it. I suggest to my students how they can analyze others' music, including the music of different genres, and enrich their creativity. Because they have to, transcribe that to classical music. It's not that accepting as it is, but there may be some elements in some, even Justin Bieber's music, who has 264 crore hits. But there might be some elements that we can see that is okay. Okay. Then also, Adrian, you might have read my latest article on music marketing and all.
Yeah.
So that there also I discussed all these things. Then music for creating a sustainable market for Indian classical music. So I suggest students to analyze others' music. Then I discuss recital management. This also connects Viraj's question. Then I also discuss with my students about music distributions. I encourage my students to study any area of knowledge that they consider helpful for their musical growth and connecting society, leading to wider recognition as a musician. That may be business and marketing, whatever. That may be acoustics. That may be electronic science, whatever. I always share with my students any new ideas that come to me that can help them grow meaningfully. Finally, I shall read it slowly. I emphasize optimizing the distribution of qualities, developing unique qualities, and keeping an open mind towards self-discovery. I usually advise my students that don't get disturbed with what others are doing. Because supposing supposing X came to me, I should not take his name, and he's a tabla player. He said that Anindoda is playing so well, or Zakir Hussain is playing so well. Well, good, they're playing good. So what to do? Then I said, I can't go to that I can't do that good. Whatever Zakir Hussain played or Anindo Chatterjee played. Well, okay, good. But can you play something in tabla? He's a very good tabla player. Can you play something? Well, yes, I can play, but okay. But I have recording, in those days, I have recording setup and this. I also have microphones and good. I put a good microphone, put it to computer, and said, you play for 40 seconds to 1 minute. That's all, not more. Little piece, and that you think that you play well. Good. Then I recorded him and tweaked that, because I know how to tweak that. So I tweaked that, and I have a good pair of speakers, and I played it and asked him that, name me the musician you imagine that he can play better than this. The point is identify what you can do, not what others are doing, because that is their maybe 10,000 hours of practicing or more, because it takes 10,000 hours. Because I put in more than 100,000 hours. I was a stupid person. But there's a Malcolm or somebody's book is there that to make a genius, you requires 10,000 focused hours. And one can do anything. I have another theory called fute and grit. Fute and grit means if you use your time nicely, fute means focused, intelligent use of time.
Okay.
Number one. Number two is grit, that when you fail, you will again try. But on the lines of Elon Musk and Sundar Pichai, they said that you'll be failing. This is common. Failure is very common, absolutely common. And you should not absolutely afraid of failures. You should take, and I used to teach my students that take pride of your failures. But failures show that you tried. So it hardly matters, because supposing there are three, Viraj's question was not directly Viraj's question. Supposing there are top three musicians in some subject, right? A, B, and C. We need not take anybody's name.
Hmm.
Okay. So A is good because he has certain 10 fantastic qualities or 5 fantastic qualities.
Hmm.
B is good. He has another 5 or 6 fantastic qualities. C is good. He has 5, 6, 7 fantastic qualities, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
But these qualities are different. So assess A with the qualities of B and C, he gets a 0. Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is that if you are assessed by your own qualities, you get full marks.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
my point to the student is that I ask them to discover themselves rather than, what if they're advanced student, not for the beginners. For the beginners, it's okay. Because if these 3 are the top musicians, most recognized musicians, Viraj, do you want to say something? You're on the screen. Anyway, if we're this is a I'm forgetting the idea. Anyways, if you oh yes, yeah, this person has 5 qualities, right? Very exceptional qualities. But this person has some weak qualities too. A is top musician, B is top musician, C, both are top musicians, right? But is A has some weak qualities? Definitely, yes. But amongst the comparatively weaker, I would say. B has some comparatively weaker qualities. C has comparatively weaker qualities. But these qualities at a status that audience accept that. So any musician who wish to perform, they must comply with these weakest qualities of these top musicians. Otherwise, they shouldn't take that as profession or play before the public. This is one thing. Second is he has to identify themselves, discover themselves where they are good. Focus on that and develop the qualities and make the USP. US is the marketing term, United Selling Proposition. Unique qualities where this person will fail. If that person fails, then if you ask ABC to play, none of them will be able to play.
Correct.
So that is a way, very simple. And if you can develop that quality, you have certain qualities that goes above these 3, then you will be possibly that will like a magical quality and the audience will grab you. This is one thing. Second is that you have to find out, you have to do some research on the popular musicians and audiences, that what kind of, about the audience behavior. Because audience behavior is not same. Audience behavior is one thing in South Africa, other in South Australia, North Australia, in Northern India, Central India, Kolkata, 24 Pargana, in the village, it's all different.
Yeah.
So you must find out your own clients who would like to listen to, who may be your audiences. Because I played many places where they never know who Ravi Shankarji was, who Lata Mangeshkar was, who Nehru was, or who Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. No one, only they know. So that is the thing. So no one is known. Tagore is not known. I had been to US so many times, other places so many times. This place, nobody is known. But the point is, who is the audience? Who are the appreciators? Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Najian, are you upset?
Not at all. No, I'm just like a rabbit caught in the headlights, or deer caught in the headlights. I'm just sort of processing all this information, this wonderful information. Yeah, I think that's what we're all a bit like that. Yeah, we're digesting as we
It's
go.
unusual. This is not common.
This is not common, but it's very big. It's very Calcutta. My experience of Calcutta too is this type of analysis, critical thinking is really so good. Yeah.
Adrian, can you hear me?
Who's that?
Professor Ashit Roy.
Yes, Professor Ashit Roy. Yes, we can hear you.
Ashit,
I have a question.
on করে নিন, ভিডিওটা হয়নি on. Please switch on the
Video
video.
on karo?
Hanji.
Yes, that's
Okay,
good.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
Please.
You have told about the Raga Lakshmana. So, how important at present the Avirbhav and Tirubhav, the 2 Lakshmanas of Raga at present is?
This morning we had this talk. Okay.
Yeah, we did.
You see, these are all incidental Lakshans. Okay? Abhirbhav Tirobhav, actually, well, to my understanding, it came in the list because some ustad did something that didn't come within the general periphery of the rag, but made a fantastic raga addition in the texture of the raga. And the theoreticians added that, okay, Abhirbhav and Tirobhav, the Tirobhav from the rag, but it's deviated from the rag, but still, it came back in the rag, that is Abhirbhav and Tirobhav. But I don't know whether it is under the rag lakshanas, but I think this is incidental, that whenever that happens, and to my understanding, I told Adrian this morning that there's something else I wish to Adrian, should I tell that?
Yes, please. Yes, absolutely.
If the musician is in command, you listen to Vilayat Khan, you will see the examples of that. Then you can do wonderful things that usually don't come under the raga prescription, raga lakshana. But that matches it. So when you establish the raga that way, you're a real master musician, then you can do almost anything. Yeah. So Abhirbhav, did I answer to your question, Professor Roy?
Yes, sir. But
okay,
I was asking that, is it mandatory? If you say that the 10 Lakshman is important to establish a raga.
10 Lakshan is old time. We don't. You see, when we learned, we never taught what the Arohi and Avarohi is. We learned some bandishas. We have to derive the Arohis and Avarohis. And Arohi Avarohi is a primary Lakshan. Okay. So 10 Lakshan is there. I know about 10 Lakshanas. I heard about that. But that is old time treatises say about this. So if you attended my lecture from the beginning, I say that I shall not be referring to the treatises. Because my lecture is based on my learning experience and my performance experience, my practice experiences. So I shall not go to the 10 Lakshans of the raga. And those terms are also different. Angshat, Swar, and this one, that one. Those are different. Right now, it is important that you know 5, 10, 12 bandishes of a raga, what I was taught, and try to derive the raga out of that. Because there is raga, for example, it is very difficult to create Arohan and Avarohan. There can be multiple Arohans, multiple Avarahans too. For example, Gol Masa, da, 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 da. Then what is sa, ni, sa, ma, re, pa. So it can go both the ways. Ni, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, ga, ma, re, sa, ni, sa, ga, ga, ma, re, pa. So, I mean, that is why I usually don't wish to discuss on ragas. There's so many approaches, so many types of combinations you can take that it is difficult. That is why I told that what I told ITC SRA, take a number of bandishes and try to find out the number, consecutive occurrence of notes and standardize the ragas. That's it. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Adrian, next.
Okay. So I think you've covered this in some ways. We've touched upon this idea of right at the beginning of rags, each rag having its own gestalt, its own personality, its own energy or something. So if that's the case, then to what extent and how do you accommodate that? And how do you change your approach to, say, alap in different rags in order for that personality to come out? Do you go back to what sort of strategy or what approaches? What approaches?
That will all depend. There are two approaches. Take Ravi Shankarji. He played a whole concert, taking all the light mood ragas, khamas, pilu, kafi and all, and he played in a full thing, full concert, Ilamit Gata and Drut. So it depends on the musician. Musicians are the decision makers. I can talk about the gharana also. I can bring it down. Asit will be very angry on me that if I start talking about gharana, because all these people, what I understand as gharana, actually the musical personalities focused on us by some very good musicians, successful musicians. I don't say very good or bad. Very good or bad are the qualities that got, what do you say, established. That is good or bad. What we understand as good or bad is how we are taught to take something as good or bad. There's nothing called good or bad. So are you getting me, Adrian?
Yeah.
So the thing is that what you told, that how a raga, generally speaking, if you are talking about the novice, general people, general level people, I would say that some ragas are, sober. They have more gravity. Some ragas are, just a bahar. So this is a kind of movement like that. This is springtime raga, more brighter raga. And there is Myanmar, the dripping, the rain is dripping, and the sullen mode. So that will be more graver. So these are there. But what else you want? This is all the musician's understanding. When I think it is the musicians who's creating everything. Because if the musician is successful and reaching a lot of people, or the theoretician, whoever, he makes the theory out of the music. From the theory, music doesn't, you can't make music. The music, the theory gets created from music.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Yeah. So then, I'm going to ask one more question, and then I'll leave it to others. But then, how do you combine raga and ras together then?
You're very.
And I'm sorry, this is without notice. This question, without notice, this question. I didn't give it.
Yeah. But I am totally against it, because I had a talk with Professor Premlata Sharma, because I worked under her, and he was a top musicologist, you might be knowing.
Yeah.
So, I talked with Subhadra Chaudhary and other people, because all were very close to me, and they loved me. So what I understood talking with them, because this is not my area, treaties are not my area.
Yeah.
What I understood, this rasa is what? Rasa cannot be without the visual or verbal transmission method. Right? Okay. But the rag is an oral system, audio system. Audio. Body is audio. So, sir, what do you think? The other people sitting there, do you actually accept it? Does rag is...
Yeah, I never thought of this point before. So interesting.
Yeah, good. So the ras is more of visual. So what happens? The audio, when something comes to the humans, the people, they wish to transcribe with their regular experiences. So, for example, he speaks so sweetly. One can't speak sweetly. It is, they have to eat something rasgulla or something, some sweet, some candy, and feel the sweetness, right? So this is a general tendency of the people, of the theoreticians, whoever. They try to connect, with other ideas, other things that they regularly feel. This is one thing. So Rag got connected with visual art, Ragramana paintings, and that is all. I don't know. I don't wish to use bad words, but I'm totally against this. This is some Raja, some king wanted to glorify Raga. They have good painters, and this is paint good paintings, some female painters, some male painters, some good animals, and do it nicely. We had put in some. But John will kill me. Actually, John is there. Is he there?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So put some gold on that, throw some gold on that, and make it beautiful, and connect with Tori. Not really connected to Tori. So that's the way. But that is not. I told you that is what is called. There's a name for that. When the people connect with the synecticism, or what is that? Wrote to you.
Kinesthesia. Kinesthesia. Kinesthesia.
That is the synesthetic paintings. Those are not synesthetic paintings. Synesthetic paintings, you listen to something and you paint automatically. Your synesthetic mind, that commands you to do that kind of thing. I don't believe that synesthetic painting. Those are all, you say, Raja's wishes and all. And second is verbal. If you talk it verbal, supposing if you wish to say English love you to some, Cockney girl who never heard English, also Cockneys, they go and suppose some African or somebody somewhere who never heard English, and you say, I love you, then it will be very difficult. It's very, very difficult to understand. So to communicate, you require language, verbal language. So what happened? Bharata created natakas, dramas, and he used music. And what happens? What happened later? That is what I heard from these people, and what I connect as logical, and I think it's logical. Then later people thought, okay, this tune, this melody connected with this expression, this rasa. Rasa is, of course, there in drama, in literature. Then you can connect this raga with rasa. That is my take. But in a raga, for example, if you say Malko's Viras Rag, it's written there. Okay. So saga, so pagala gana the pagala gana. How this can be Viras? But this is Malka Shasit. Is he there? You should present that to kill me, right?
There is a song killing me softly.
Not at all, but I think it has a rasa or sense, because when I sing I feel this is a manly approach.
No, do you think this is a Viras? Viras is jovial, about fighting.
Veer, I think Veer means manly.
Veer is anyway manly. Veer is not manly. Veer is the
Heroic.
Heroic.
Heroic, right, heroic, not heroic.
Gender discrimination.
Heroic. So it hardly can. But supposing my father used to tell me that it is like Srishti, Sthiti and Laya, Raga performance. Man, that was might be his theory. Maybe Alauddin Khan's theory, I don't know. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, in the alap, you are creating the rag, then you are developing the rag in the gat part or whatever, or jod part, and then you are finishing it off with the jhala, the tandav. So that is destruction. Srishti, Sthiti and Laya. So you're creating, you're manifesting, you're destructing. That is of course all imaginations, but this can be a better expansion rather than connecting a rag with rasa, a whole rag with the rasa. Rasa, any type of rasa can be depicted through any raga, provided you connect the rasa with the movement. In Germany, there's a research. I don't know why I'm going to academia. In Germany, there is a research that there are only two main components. Those are universal components in music. And you can use only these two components to describe any human mood. One is intensity component, that whether the dynamics component, that loud or low, and the other is speed component. And this we use everyday life. But the note component is culture specific component. The notes are culture specific. The Europeans use certain type of notes, and Indians would have second type of note.
Yeah.
Africans use, Japanese use fourth type of note. Indonesians use. They don't have any note. They take the gongs and play ding, 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 ding. This is male, this is female, this and that. So they're again different kind of music. So notes are culture specific, and they enjoy that, and we enjoy our music. So note is culture specific. But long day back, I went to a Japanese program. And there are top koto players, top musicians invited in Kolkata, in Villa Zavadar. And there was a drummer also. So we enjoyed the drum, but we couldn't enjoy the koto because that was more on melody and this and that. But drums, because that's because this rhythms are there, we all enjoyed it. He got lots of claps. So these are the tail events. And if you wish to connect, supposing any musician wishes to connect, that's for Virajji. If you wish to connect with something, then you have to playfully or intelligently use these two elements of music. One is intensity of sound, dynamics, silence. Of course, silence is in our daily life, silence. And third is the speed of. The speed means not only high speed, the play of speed. That's in the daily life, in the planetary motion, everywhere, in the manifestation.
Sir, talking about the rasas and raga, from an audience point of view, a eminent singer sang Rag Gandhi. And one of the audience said, we don't get anything about Mahatma Gandhi in this rag. I'm just making a comment about rasa and, like Malcolm used to say, Veer rasa, but not everybody gets that, or not everybody gets. So it's such a vast diversity in rag, and somebody will get something and the other person may not get it. So
Exactly.
Yeah, Gandhi was political rag anyway. That's not our rag.
Yeah. But the other thing with rasa is that there's so many rasas, but in music there's only 3 or 4 used, and rasa was formulated within theatre and drama. So it's strange, the whole rasa theory, to put it onto music as well. It condenses it and restricts it too. Would you say?
No, I already explained that, because Bharat was a great dramatist. Yeah, and he connected, or anyone, in the, for example, if our president or prime minister dies, they will play Darbari Kannada. So Darbari Kannada becomes Kodundras.
But what about Abbianca, or which I'm just saying, we're having a bit of a thunderstorm here, so there may be a chance that we can lose the connection at some stage. But that's why, not because we don't like you, it's because of
because the nature didn't like me.
Exactly. Exactly. The gods are angry.
today's rasa was different.
Yeah.
So that's it. I think I talked a lot of things, and we can take it up on the mails also later. Also, the discussion can continue, and there can be another version of the discussion. Because discussion goes well, as I told Adrian, that it should be shorter, so that people can retain what is talked. So that should not be more than 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Focused discussion, and 10-20 minutes of questionnaire, but that's all. And some good wines.
Yeah, that's good. So it just means now we have to invite you back to keep the next episode, which is very challenging, very, very smart too. Yeah.
No, may not be that, but some other speaker, but that can happen.
Yeah, we'd love that. We'd love that. Yeah, to keep in touch.
We'll send you a lot of wines from here when Adrian is going to Calcutta. Can I ask one thing? In the beginning, you said your first guru, your father, he gave you wisdom. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, wisdom. What is the special knowledge? You see, this is a demand and supply situation, which is not in supply, that is special. Of course, that thing helped me a lot and helps a musician a lot. But generally speaking, the diamond doesn't have any use, because that's very precious, because the people have some demand, but that has only one quality, that can cut glass. Otherwise, there's a piece of carbon, and there are more glittering stones than diamond.
Yeah.
And reflected, you can make it in other different ways. And that thing actually in those days, I wonder if you know that in those days, 1 lakh rupee was a big sum of money, and people used to give 1 lakh rupee for maybe 10, 14 bowl patterns. So music was so much guarded. I think Aline Miner mentioned about this, maybe 1 lakh or 10,000, and huge money anyway. Even that is 10,000 in 18th century, early 19th century, this is a huge money. So music was guarded, and I mean, from the today's perspective, everyone used to play very bad music. But again, John will kill me. John must have left now. So that's good. So
No, I haven't left, and I'll kill you later.
so I have to be careful. So anyway, it's a different music, not bad music. I said from the current perspective, let me tell you one story. I was there, in Jabalpur, there's in Madhya Pradesh, in central India, and there, what happened in that music cycle, in the music they invited, there are several very well-known musicians came, but the listeners were not happy. Very big names. I don't want to take those names. Then I was trapped, and I said that we don't have much money. We have this much money, but please play. So Mukund Bhale was in those times very good tabla player, my very close friend. He was on the tabla. He told me that, oh, please let us go. Then that Mukund was very adventurous guy and a funny guy. And we saw a cassette shop. You know them. You are not that you not to know cassette.
Yeah.
So cassette shop, a record shop. So the big record shop, and we went inside, and Mukund Bhale asked that, do you have any K.L. Saigal? K.L. Saigal was a very famous singer, earlier singer. And he bought a car selling one disc, that much of profit. So he could buy a car.
Wow.
So Mukund asked the case, well, yes, we have. Then he brought out the recording, maybe disc, maybe CD or whatever, something, not CD, maybe cassette, put the cassette. This part I have to speak in Hindi because otherwise the maza will not come. So then a group of boys and young boys and girls, they came inside. अरे कैसेट का स्पीड तो ठीक क्या कर the cassette recorder was out of order. Then Mukund made them understand, no, this is the type of song. The song is the sound. The value changes, right? The value changes. Again, John will kill me, but he likes it. So that's the old song. So yeah, Ajay, no, you're not. Don't be angry. Don't be angry. But I'm talking the truth, right? I'm telling the truth.
Yeah, I'm laughing a lot. And I'm just imagining John there, sitting there with some weapon as well, chomping.
With bunny headphones.
With bunny ears. Yeah. His bunny ears catching fire.
Karak Bijli Tam.
But let me quickly take Viraj. Is he a singer or tabla player or what? Viraj Salvi, what he does?
Vocalist.
He's a vocalist, sings well.
Vocalist. Okay, so my discovery, let me tell you my discovery. Okay, because I did a lot of experimentation with Kushal. Kushal is a senior person, then Rajrupa, who recently 2-3 days played in Darbar Festival and the Heat. It's very good, a sarod player. So when teaching her, I found out that even if you very carefully assess very successful performances, because if you are a sensitive listener, you will get bored with even the top very well-known musicians. But otherwise, you will see that there will be a change in every 3 minutes. That is my discovery. It's not noted anywhere, not noted in Shastras. But that is my discovery, that that you have to change. So when you play, there has to be a good change in every 3 minutes. If you do that, and this compounded 3 minutes, then you should be able to connect the audiences better. That is my theory.
Wow.
So you can try it and find out.
Wow.
Changed
Change your kurta every 3 minutes.
No. I'm talking about the music. This is no love, sir, because this made many people's concert big hits.
Right.
So the thing is not choosing kurta, that's a type of music.
Yeah.
What is,
I'm only
suppose,
joking.
supposing you are doing alap in instrumental music, then you have to change the embellishment, type of embellishment, user embellishment, the timing, the pace, whatever. There has to be a change that is perceptible, but the listeners will not be able to understand that.
Right.
But the musician can do that and practice that, and that will be natural.
Beautiful, yeah. Yeah. It's like a kaleidoscope, but sound, just changing the image, yeah.
Because otherwise, what happens? What happens? That mostly the musicians, they are most focused on the time. They wish that if we play a long piece, that will be good. Recently, one of my students who's a flutist, he's Panchayana, he's earning good money and all. He's of course different kind of programs, but not classical music programs. But he is getting 3-4 concerts a week and earning lakhs and lakhs of rupees, well, good money. So I tried with him. He's very, virtuous flutist and all. So I tried to. I asked him to play a rag within 3.5 minutes. I asked the same thing to Asid. I wondered if you know Dr. Asid. There was a senior professor of Saha Institute of Nuclear Physics, who was in the US for a long time, was a good scholar physicist, and also a singer. So I asked him to try it this way, because the memorable recordings of Ghulam Ali Khan Sahab or these people are very small duration. The longer duration recordings are not that way, remembered. All the if you see the popular musicians, their music pieces are not that long.
Yeah.
So what do? But otherwise, this is not the forum for that. But my ideas are different for presentation. I have already written that. If anybody has a interest, you can search academia.org on the internet. That what articles I wrote. There is one on sustainable music market. So there you will find all my ideas. That I wrote that based on the theories, researched in Harvard and this kind of places, business theories. So and that's endorsed by, as I told Adrian, endorsed by a professor in business in University of Washington. So that can take place. So we can use the technology, we can use the visuals, we can use the audio, and as they do in a popular Western music concert, the musicians alone don't do the concert. There are several musicians off stage, or several performers off stage. So we have to, but if we have to survive with that, but Adrian didn't agree. But if we have to survive,
no, I do agree. I have not that I disagree. I'd say yes, and this as well.
Okay. So the thing is that unless we are classical music enthusiasts, we love Indian classical, Hindustani Raga music, Indian classical music, we have to expand the clients, the number of listener base. So supposing our is so bad, I don't think, I don't know if you I don't think even 2,000 crore rupees is invested on India, spent on Indian classical music world over. And when I was there for a work in ITC SRA, so ITC in those days, 20 years back, they used to do 26,000 crore. Well, ITC is a tucha company, is nothing. It's not a company at all. This is just, but if Indian classical music not to be taken as an industry or anything.
Yeah.
But we can try to expand that, then we have to invite more people, try to join more people who can love music. And my experiences say that Indian, because I played before the audience, those didn't know any of our musicians. Any of our musicians, any of our poets, anybody. But they loved it. So that's not me whose performance they liked. They loved the music. So music has a potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have played performances for 4 hours in France. They stood on their legs, 2 legs, and listened to my performance. So what is there? But we are only fighting with each other. This is really little market. This is not the way to think of.
Yeah.
That is my take. Anyways, so I'm talking too much.
No, it's great.
So, Adrian, Sanjay sir said there was one thing that he wanted to say and to remind him later.
It was about sound, about sa.
No. I thought purity of rag.
Purity, right, yeah.
Purity of rag, and that I think I told I would not, or standardization of raga. So should I tell that?
If we can indulge, if you can indulge us, yes. You know, I know we're taking a lot of your time, and you've got guests come and all that. So, but if you can, that'd be great. Yes.
Okay, but it will take 2 minutes.
Okay.
There's one purity of rag. That is what my teacher taught me. And I understand as pure. The simple story is my wife, who's apparently a good singer, is sat for a master's examination. And the examiner was very nicely trained person who had training with traditionally trained person and who died as professor in a top university of India and all that. And if I take the name, then again John will kill me. But this is not my teacher, but somebody was very close to me. And my wife learned from Narendra Vyas's daughter. Her name I'm forgetting. And she sang Madhubanti with 2 nishas.
Oh.
And fantastic bandish. And the examiner didn't give her a mark for that. She got 0 for that. Even then she could pass it nice. That is a different thing. Other scores were good. But 50 marks was waived, not given. For the other 50 marks, rag, she got 48. So she got 100 out of 48 because the examiner was ignorant and didn't know that Madhubanti can take the other nisha. So that is one purity of rag.
Yeah.
Second purity of rag is that everyone is doing it wrong. As Pastor did I tell in this talk, that is that when the raga is created, that is the pure form. So Matanga says that is the first reference of rag in 7th century. He said that Bhairav takes 5 notes, Malab Kaushik takes 7 notes. So we play Malkosh with 5 notes, Bhairav with 7 notes. We are all wrong. Let it be Ravi Shankar, Vilayat Khan, Bade Gulami Khan, Fuyaz Khan, everybody. Right? So everything is wrong. Also, take the closer history, playing Yog with Komal Nishad is wrong. Although Ravi Shankarji played, my Dada Guru. But Yog, when it was created with both the nishas. Right? Okay. So these are all there. The third is, these are the 2 purity of ragas. One is when it is created, that is pure, then everyone is wrong. Our second is what my teacher says, that is correct. So if that conforms to that, then that is right. Otherwise, that is wrong. Okay. Then I can tell you another story that I played at the ITC yesterday. Because I'm an old man, I can talk anything. So I played ITC yesterday. I played Sham Kullan. Then I was, dusht to tha, I was very, this kind of person. I'm not very straight kid. So I asked Kishnu Saab that why don't you assess my performance through your experts? So there was Dipali Nag, Sunil Bose, Jog Sahab, like that, this is all very well-known people were there. Vijay Kishnu himself, Ajay Sinha Rai, my teacher. To make the story short, someone said that Sanjay made this not correct. This treatment is not correct. Then the second expert will say, no, this is correct. This goes as per this. Then again, Sanjay did this mistake. The another expert will say, no, this is correct. Like that, it went on and went on, and I did one of the biggest mistake in my life on that day, because that didn't make me famous. So I asked that, should I tell you something? Because there are 5, 6 top experts of India. Then I said, I know ITC SRA and full of very erudite people. So before playing this Sham Kalan, I consulted 25 compositions. And whatever I played are confirmed by some of the composition. So your dilemmas are because some of you know some composition, some other know some other group of compositions. So that was the mistake from my part, but because as a young guy, I should not tell them like that. Jokes have called me and said, Sanjay, aisa hai ki you are a young kid. You know, there no end of growing, no end of better music. But that spoiled my career in one way. So this happened. So this is purity of music. And standardization music where Babanji did some work, and where Bhatkhandiji did very good work, monumental work, he went to everyone. And when he went to Banaras, somebody sang for him. Oh yes, Bade Ramdas ji. Bade Ramdas ji sang different ragas and he went on notating and notating. Then one morning, Bade Ramdas ji was taking bath in Ganga, Ganges. Bhatkhandiji went there. And asked, बोले पंडित जी ये बताइए कि आपने जो बताया सब सही है कि नहीं? You understand the Hindu this much? बोला I'm taking bath in Ganges and you are asking this question. तो सब गलत है. All right. So this is a documentation of Bhatkhandiji. And in those days, you know, the ustads, including my teacher, was not for, you know, what, but you know, those are, but I think at this age, that's a fantastic work. Also, Fayaz Khan Sahab, we went to Fayaz Khan Sahab sang a rag for 7 days. Then one day he could understand this is this, I don't remember, Yaman or something.
Yeah, without Pancham. Yeah.
Huh? Yaman, no?
Yeah, without Pancham, wasn't it?
No, Pancham, that I played. That is different. That I played Puriya Kala. That's not that. I mean, he sang something, you know, some rag, and one day Bhatkhandiji could understand what the raga was, but other days, you know, he couldn't follow it. Then he said, we constantly went on asking Fayaz Khan Sahab, tell me the rag. Well, okay, I tell you. Now listen to it. Then after 7th day, he said that, Panditji, I all the time sang the same rag from different approaches. So you see, I mean, when it goes to the music, it's the musicians play, I would say. It's not theory. Musicians will make the raga stand. Musician can do it. I told you this morning about on the emails that Bimal Mukherjee told me about Sri and Tori connection.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. So what is that? Sa re ga ma da ma re ga re sa re ga story. Sa re ga ma da ma re ga re pa ma da ma re sa. It goes very well. But if this is the way of connecting, you know, rag ragini, because I think there's some connection, you will know, you are well-read person. Then you connect with Malkos. Sa sa ga ma da ma ga sa ni da ni sa re ga re sa. Connects with Malkos. So these are not child phrases. Any musician can do anything. After establishing Tori, if I sing sa ga ma da ma ga sa ni da ni sa, it will go fine, nicely. The first thing is you have to establish the audio personality. Here, Abhirabha Tirava doesn't come. I mean, as Asit pointed out, Abhirabha Tirava is altogether different. When you are going away from the rag and suddenly you feel the Abhirbhav of some other rag, that is, and going back to the main rag, that is Abhirbhav Tirava. But here is, you are doing anything with rag. Past you rag established, then that's a nice girl, you said they put a different kind of lipstick, come back, then she a different kind of lipstick, and change the nail paint. She came to change with the nail paint. But that's the same girl. So you have to establish the rag like that.
Mm, mm.
Back to standardization, that is the last thing, then I shall leave.
Yeah.
That is, that standardization of raga can happen one way, that if you have the ragas are archived with on the bandishas, by the base of bandishas. Primarily they used to say drupas, bandish. So if you have, say, 30 traditional bandishas of any rag, then you can notate the bandishas and find out the consecutive occurrence of 3 notes, frequency of occurrence of 3 notes, frequency of occurrences of 4 notes, frequency of occurrences of 5 notes. So, and when you have the result, say 85% occurrence, 70% occurrence, as a computer can easily find it out. Then you can sit with the musicians and find out what can be standard, what compositions, combinations you will consider. For example, the computer says the sanisa is common occurrence of consecutive 3 notes, but sanisa goes with anything, any rag. Garega will go with many ragas. So you have to find out that what occurred, what is unique occurrence, and that is, and through that procedure you can possibly standardize the ragas logically. That is my take, which I took ITCSA 22 years back. They couldn't understand it.
Right.
Okay, good. Nice talking.
Sanjoy, thank you so much for spending this time with us and for enlightening us on these fantastic. And we'll have to do another session in the next few months as well.
Nice, right? Yeah,
but
I hope to react more and have more maybe music sometime. We'll do that.
Absolutely, that'd be fantastic. Thank you so much.
Music is difficult online. Music is not possible online because it gives very bad quality.
Yeah.
So we have to think on that, how we go forward.
We'll come to your house. That's
That's right. So you all are invited to Kolkata, sir. Yes. All of you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. It was great.
Okay.
And John, calm down. Stop trying to kill people too, please.
Yeah, I'm trying. Shanti Ras.
I think the title of the video has...
Start the video, please, John. Yes, tell me. So, sir, I'm with protected, bulletproof.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm very calm and quiet today. I'll get you tomorrow.
Okay, good. All the best. Take care. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Adrian?
Thank you.
Adrian, good.